This video is going to be long, and also spoiler alert to everything that's happened in this season regarding the top 5. So if you haven't seen it yet, I really recommend you do it now. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a big fan of Drag Race, and I've always been dying to do a video on it for a long time. And in this video, I will be discussing who could possibly win season 14 of Drag Race. Season 14 for me has been absolutely amazing, and I've enjoyed every episode. But the main thing is that it's not clear cut at all to me who will win this season. Currently, I'm recording this after the roast episode we just had, where Bosco got her 3rd win and Betty sent both Deja Sky and Georges home. It may seem weird because why wouldn't I film this right after the final competitive episode when we know who's going into the final and the full track records and the narrative, but here's why I'm not doing that. Number 1, I'm going to add a bit at the end of this video after the final 5 episode next week to add anything that would be helpful to this video, such as who's going into the final and how the edit is at the end of the season. Number 2, I'm on the r/spoiled drag race subreddit, meaning I already know what could possibly happen in the next top 5 episode and the confirmed finalists, and I will include that knowledge when discussing the possible scenarios. I should be uploading this video after the top 5 episodes, so obviously I'm not putting that as a spoiler warning because we will know by now. It's a bit weird how I'm doing this, but I'm just doing it in a way where I have less knowledge about what's happening in the final, therefore it's more interesting to speculate. As this leads on to my next point, number 3, allegedly the final of the season will be filmed now this week on Wednesday, April the 6th, allegedly, which is obviously before the top 5 episode airs, meaning people who will read the alleged spoilers like me will know who's been cut at top 5, if anyone will be, because of the final filming. And not only that, if they do a lip sync for the crown, we will know who the top 2 are, if there is a top 2. If I record this video after that's happened, I already know who the 2 possible winners could be, and I don't want that. I just want to go in knowing the 5 possibilities and going through each one. This happened in the season 11 finale when Michelle announced Vanessa Vanjie Mateo was eliminated before the actual top 5 episode aired. So being the spoilerina I want to know what happens, so the best time for me to record the video is now. I know I mentioned that after the top 5 episode I will add more things to the video if necessary. I will not be spoiling what will allegedly happen in the final because that's just unfair, and also I don't want that to skew my thoughts now and of the top 5 episode, but I will know by then, but I won't give anything away at all. With that being said, here's the criteria that I will be going through that for me I think is important when it comes to deciding the winner, and for me this goes from least important to most important. Track record, edit/narrative/overall presence in the season, fan reaction, and RuPaul's overall feelings towards them, which is arguably the most important part considering it is RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, let's look at our finalists. Angeria Paris Van Michaels, Bosco, Betty, Lady Camden and Willow Pill.
Where am I?
First of all, I just want to say that I can see any of these queens winning, and I'd be so happy with any one of them winning. But with that being said, let's look at the track record. This is their track record up to the latest episode, which at the time I'll be editing will be the top 5 episodes. So right now, as I'm speaking, I don't know what the places for the top 5 episode will be, but on the screen right now, that is the track record of the top 5 episode. However, when talking about these queens as I'm recording now, I will be talking about their track record up to the roast episode. I have made my own track record table. I don't know if the point system is the exact same as others, but there are a lot of other Drag Race YouTubers who have similar systems, and I will credit them as well. And so far, the track record stands like this. In 5th place is Betty, with 32 out of the 60 points they can earn as of episode 12. Her track record isn't looking the greatest for her. The elimination at the start in the 1st episode really hurt her, and the constant safe streak doesn't really help either. But in the latter half of the competition, she has flourished a lot more, with highs and a win, bar the roast week. And we'll just wait to see what happens in the next episode. In 4th place is Bosco. Whilst with the most wins, Bosco finds herself at 4th with 38 out of the 60 points as of episode 12. She was doing extremely well until Snatch Game, and then she just kind of fell off. Unfortunately, Snatch Game, this lip sync smackdown, and the musical assassinated her track record, and if she didn't win this week, I think she would have been out of the running for the crown. In third place, we have Lady Camden. This is where the track records get tight, as top 3 are extremely close together, with Camden getting 41 out of 16 points as of episode 12. Camden has felt like the dark horse of the competition. Many thought she'd be an early to mid out, but God did she prove everyone wrong after the Glamours on Prime episode. Dare I say, even to be a front runner. Also, I think people generally agree to the fact that she has the strongest wins of this season. The biggest thing about this is that with the alleged tea that in the top 5 episodes that Willow and Angeria are in the bottom, if Camden is safe or higher in the next episode, there is a possibility that she might overtake them as front runner for track record with the point system I'm using. In second place is Willow Pill, with 42 out of 60 points as of episode 12. As of the latest episode, both her and Angeria are tied for points in track record. Willow has been such a dominant force throughout the competition despite only having 1 win. I know you shouldn't really compare them to other queens, especially queens who are like friends or sisters, but her run really does remind me of her drag sister Evie Oddly on season 11. Whilst they both have 1 win, they really felt like the strongest force in the competition, and they feel like they have more wins than they actually have. Willow's track record speaks for itself. She has done amazing. And in first place for track record so far, it is Angeria Paris Van Michaels, with 42 out of 60 points as of episode 12. Even though she now has the same points and track record as Willow, as Angie has been in the top of the competition since the first episode, she is number 1 in track record for me. God, Angeria has just been such a strong force throughout the competition, and her track record clearly reflects that. She was definitely stronger in the first half of the competition, but she is still a front runner in the second half, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next week. On to the next criteria: the edit/narrative/presence throughout the season. This is important because it could tell whose overall narrative will end the best and most satisfyingly if they end up winning. Also, someone having more or less presence as the season progresses will be very telling to how production views them and if they're worthy for the crown or even just going into the final. Describing the edit of each queen is my reading and interpretation of how I saw the season and how I saw them. People may see this completely differently and disagree with what I saw, so it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. Angeria. She has had such a strong showing throughout. As I've already said, she is one of the front runners of the season and is just such a fun, loving and kind person. But other than that, she doesn't really have a storyline, or it just doesn't feel like she does. Like, she could have the pageant queen who's versatile and good at everything and kind of surprises everyone, but other than that, she's kind of faded into the background in the latest episodes, as much as it pains me to say, but she still has enough of a strong presence in the edits. A lot of fans have said and felt the same way, so it really depends how she is edited in the top 5 episode and what happens then. That will determine where she stands with getting the crown. Bosco. Probably one of the strongest edits in the season in my opinion. This may be a controversial opinion, but other than Kerry Colby, for me, Bosco has been the confessional queen of the season. She always has like a couple of confessionals each episode where she comments on what's happening or what's happening to another queen, and has really been providing entertaining content throughout the season. The main part is that fumble she had in the middle of the season. From being a front runner with 2 wins to then possibly losing the crown with the amount of bottoms she had, to rising from the ashes by winning a 3rd challenge and therefore having the most challenge wins of the season. If she is strong next week, and depending from the comments from the judges, her winning can make a satisfying ending to a storyline. Betty are villain of the series, and when I say villain I mean very, very, very loosely. Obviously her being eliminated at the start of the series, then returning to climb up the ranks each week to a win, finally showed that she is strong competition. But the question is that enough of an edit for her to win? She's come back, she's climbed, she's proved she's a strong competitor, she speaks her mind, she's blunt about that, but the main thing is that a lot of her story has revolved around Jasmine and Georges, and now that they're gone, I don't know how they're going to edit her or what her story's going to be. Or is it because now those 2 are out of the way, she can be so focused on the crown that she has, in it to win it mentality only? It's a difficult one. Lady Camden. She had no edit or storyline or narrative for like the first couple of episodes. She was just non-existent until the Glamours on Prime episode, because obviously she got the high and people wanted her to win over Georges. We know that the Daytona Wind episode catapulted her to the possible front runner position. I mean, she didn't just win that episode. she made that episode her bitch. While she did have a few safe streaks and a stumble with the girl groups and Snatch Game, she proved again with the lip sync smackdown why she's a force to be reckoned with. But her underdog story really came in clutch in the Rupaul episode. She performed great in the roast, and if she performs well next week, things will be looking good for Camden. Willow Pill. She definitely has one of the strongest edits in the season, and even better, she played the game well. From everyone falling for her entrance look trick, plus her strategic moves throughout the series, especially in the lip sync smackdown, Willow is fucking amazing at this competition. She is a star, keeping her cards close to her chest and playing them when it benefits her the most. Not only is it, as a viewer, fun to watch, but it also gives Willow a really compelling narrative. The one people underestimated being a dominant force throughout. We also see her talk about and show her struggles with her chronic illness, but even with those struggles, she still comes through at the end of the day, and winning the season will finish off that arc beautifully. Now, the fans' reactions. A lot of this is generalised as well because it's completely different for each individual fan with how they perceive each queen in the season. But this is a general consensus I've seen online with what people are saying. I will say each one of the queens have a majority positive fan reaction and people who have rallied behind them. And looking at how people have reacted to the season, this is how I see it. For Angeria, people love her and her charm. Being a clear frontrunner from the start, people were straight away on board with her being in the final. Since then, the fan support has not wavered at all, but some might have changed their course to other contestants. People still see her as a very strong contender for the crown and really want to see her in the final. For Bosco, it's been kind of up and down for Bosco, but the majority has been positive, with her getting 2 wins from early to mid-season, and a lot of people loving her confessionals and dry humour and drag style. She was definitely a favourite. However, she had kind of bad luck with the order of the runways, bottoming in the lip sync smackdown 3 times, as Georgia put it lovely. And the musical episode and getting the golden bar, it might have made people turn a bit on her. The fan reaction to her is still good. For Daya, she's not had the greatest time with being painted as a kind of villain of the season because her confessionals and general attitude on the show has been blunt, and because she always speaks her mind, it might have rubbed some people the wrong way. But it's also made people fall in love with her, as rarely do queens speak their mind like that. I don't know whether the fan reaction to her will be helpful or not in getting her the crown. I think it could go either way, if that makes sense. It would be interesting to see again how the fans react, especially in the next episode. For Lady Camden, a lot of people put Camden down as an early out at first, but my god, since her flourishing mid-season, she has a lot of fans rallying behind her. Her strong presence in the second half of the season has really come off greatly to others, and this could really benefit her. For Willow Pill, arguably the fan favourite of the season, and rightfully so. She's unique, charming, witty, funny, and just down to earth, mixed with that being strategic, playing the game, and having just a unique and fun drag style. I've seen so many people just connect with her story and experience whilst admiring her journey through the competition, which bodes well for her. Also, being a clear frontrunner of the season with a positive edit will always be favourable to the audience. However, the most important criteria for me is Rupaul's feelings towards them, as he is the one who decides who wins. You could argue that this crosses over into the narrative criteria as well, with Rupaul being a producer of the show, but it's more specific, I would say. Obviously, I don't know Rupaul, let alone what is going on in his mind, so we will never know for certain what he thinks of other queens. He's shown an interest and liking to all the top 5, so there's something. I think it's safe to say that he likes Willow a lot. Not only him with having a nickname for her, but also getting to know her more by asking about her past and experiences with mental health. He really loves Willow, her drag and her story. I think the fact that he gave 3 wins, deservedly so, to Bosco and saved her with a chocolate bar twist, it kind of suggests that he wants Bosco to stay in this competition and be a potential frontrunner. For the other 3, Angeria, Camden and Daya, he's shown an interest and liking for all of them, especially to Camden in her winning episodes, or Angie when she's in the top, but nothing that stands out too much compared to the other 2. Again, it's really hard to judge, not being Rupaul myself. With wrapping up the criteria, here's the order starting from least likely to most likely of who will win the season. Number 5 is Daya Betty. Having the weakest track record, and the fan reaction being mostly mixed, already being eliminated as well, and not really having a storyline other than redemption and feeling some type of way towards others, I don't think the crown will be Di's this season. Will she decimate an All-Star series or versus the World season in the future? Oh, definitely. I think she is such a strong competitor who has her eyes on the prize and will not play friendly with others. I just think in this season the rest of the competition left is stronger. And from here it gets hard because it can go either way, and they're also tight when it comes to criteria that it's really hard to say. In 4th place, I put Lady Camden. First of all, I want to say I really hope I'm proven wrong by putting her here. Whilst there is a possibility that she could have the best track record of the season, I don't know if her edit/story on the season definitely warrants her as a winner, or if it's just a good storyline. In one way, I could read it as an underdog story with a queen who finds her strength and footing each week, and even when pushed aside she prevails, or just hey, this queen is doing well and has some great moments, but we don't see her enough as a winner. That's it. That's what I think. It depends on how you read it. However, there's something I'll mention later on why I could also be completely wrong about talking about this. The fan reaction has been mainly positive, and Rupaul does really like her when she's, in her winning episodes and Daytona Wins and Moulin Rouge. I don't know if they do see her as like a winner of the season or more of a future all-star winner. In the 3rd position, I put Angeria. Despite having the best track record as of now, I just don't know if the past couple of episodes have ignored Angeria to be a possible winner, or they just don't know what to do with her anymore. For me, she has that charisma, that uniqueness, that nerve and that talent to be a winner. I just don't know if production sees it anymore. Also, with the fans loving her, a shock elimination would create a lot of buzz, and sometimes being the robbed fan fave is as good as winning. Obviously, this is coming off the alleged tea that she's in the bottom in the top 5 episode. I don't want to give up at all yet because Angie has still so much going for her, and I really want to see her in the final. In 2nd place, I put Bosco. Having the most wins, getting the golden chocolate bar, and having the period of being in the bottom, creating an interesting storyline for the fall from grace and then rising from the ashes could be what catapults Bosco to the winning spot. They clearly want to keep her, and she has proven why that is a good idea. Plus she has character development and a lot of confessionals which add to a great storyline. Plus there are a number of people rallying behind her to win, so I think she has a good chance. And in 1st place is Willow Pill. I think it's the safest option to go with in terms of who's most likely to win. If Willow gets the finale, I believe there's a high chance she will win. The judges love her, the fans love her, she has got the track record to prove it. She has had great screen time, a great edit, amazing runways, just an amazing drag aesthetic and style. I don't think there's anything that could prevent her from winning. I just think with looking at everything we've discussed, Willow is highly likely to win. But like I said, it's extremely tight. It's so close, there's not a clear frontrunner who will win. With all that in mind, it's time to discuss the actual important part. Who will actually get to the finale? Because going into the finale, especially if it's a lip sync for the crown, it makes everything I just said mean nothing. Allegedly, Bosco, Diabetti and Lady Camden are confirmed finalists, meaning that in the top 5 episode they're announced as safe, or I don't know if someone will win or if they're just high, whatever. Angeria and Willow are in the bottom 2 and are going to lip sync to Telephone. This is a massive gag considering both Angeria and Willow are the front runners of the season, and this is either done for the shock of it or they do the worst in the top 5 episode. But either way, I'm going to go through the possible scenarios. Double sachet. I don't think this will happen at all. The fan reaction will be bad and it just wouldn't make sense at all. They will not do this. Double Shantae. For me, this seems very unlikely, but considering this is a season when no one goes home, I definitely wouldn't write this off either. Plus, keeping 2 fan favourites wouldn't be as controversial to some and might finally change up the final instead of being lip sync for the crown. If this does happen, I feel that Willow would win, but again, it depends on the finale format. However, with so many people not enjoying the Queen's being saved so many times, I believe this is unlikely. Angeria wins, Willow isn't eliminated. If Angeria goes through, I'd be ecstatic, but if Willow is eliminated, I will be devastated, and vice versa. You see how hard this is? Willow could get that robbed fan favourite edit, which is sometimes as good as winning, and she'll definitely be a shoo-in for a future All-Stars winner. Then going into the final, this is what I think the likeliness of winning is. Willow wins, Angeria is eliminated. Again, I'd be absolutely ecstatic if Willow goes through, but devastated that Angeria is eliminated. Angeria, like Willow, would get that robbed fan favourite top 5 edit and will definitely be a shoo-in for a future All-Stars winner. And then going to the finale, this is the likeliness of winning. Something I mentioned earlier about Lady Camden. Whilst I placed her 4th in terms of most likely to win, if the final is a lip sync for the crown, she could turn the tables and win. I think it's safe to say that there's a 90% chance that Camden will be top 2 if the final format is lip sync for the crown, because arguably she is the best lip sync of the top 5 and we know she can pull off stunts and create a great performance. To sum this up, I still don't know, I still don't have a concrete answer. I believe if I had to pick someone to win, factually what we've looked at, I'd pick Willow. It really depends on who's going into that final plus the full narrative at the end of the season. The top 5 episode will be very telling. No matter what, I can't wait because I just love the season and the queens and I will miss it so much once the season is over. That episode was amazing and I think the top 5 all deserve to be in the final, but I hope it's the only top 5 we get, because they're actually all deserving to be there, so I don't want to see the producers in the upcoming seasons dragging a queen to the final just because they're doing a top 5 now. There are a few changes I want to make now, plus explain my decisions for track record, because a lot of people don't really know where some queens play, so I would like to explain my decisions in the order of who I think will win. It has changed a bit. Willow is still in 1st, then it's Lady Camden, then Bosco, Angeria tie for 3rd, with Daya being last just. Lady Camden has shocked me so much this series, in a good way, and I'm so happy with it. I think from the edit this episode, Willow still seems like the most likely to win, but I think now Camden is 2nd most likely instead of Bosco. I'm not sure about Angie or even Daya because I still think they have a chance, just not as much as Camden or Willow now. But God, I cried, I laughed and I enjoyed this episode so much. But what I definitely know is that the final will be so tight and so close and so good. I know how I said a double Shantae was really unlikely and we got one, but I think looking at the whole of the episode and how it was edited and how it was basically foreshadowing the Angie Willow bottom 2, I think it was obvious that they would both be saved. The idea of them not being in the final feels completely wrong. So I think the double Shantae is deserved in terms of that. The actual lip sync is fine. I wish they kind of saved telephone for another time or swapped it with another lip sync. People are saying Jasmine and Georges should have lip synced to telephone and Willow and Angie should have got Something's on Hold of Me, which I kind of agree with. Also overall when talking about this, anything I say about the queens is not supposed to be something against them or something that's supposed to drag them down. This is just coming from a neutral perspective, how they were edited and shown in the season. Like I said, all these queens deserve to be in the final, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they change up the final now with it being 5 queens. Whilst track record isn't the definitive answer and not the only thing to consider when considering who will win, obviously, I still wanted to go through it as I love stats. And I was correct when I said that Camden had a good chance of becoming 1st in track record, because now she is. Angie and Willow are tied for 2nd place, with Bosco in 3rd and Daya in 4th. In terms of fan reaction, you could just look that up online and see how the winners posts on the Drag Race social media are doing. That will tell you. For Rue's reaction, there seems to be no distance to any queens like there has been in previous seasons in terms of the finalists, but I feel that he still connects with Willow the most. So overall, I'm still sticking with Willow as most likely to win, with Camden as a very, very close 2nd. Then the other 3 queens are quite interchangeable for me, but altogether it is an extremely close top 5. It's splitting hairs at this point to find out who's the best, and that's why they're all deserving of the top 5 spots. I am genuinely rooting for all of them. In terms of my track record placements, the point system is this. For the Lip Sync Smackdown, I decided to put Deja, Daya, Willow, Georges, Camden and Angie are safe, as they won their 1st or 2nd lip sync. Bosco is in the bottom for obvious reasons. And for last night, obviously Angie and Willow have the bottom placement, Camden won and Daya is high. For Bosco, it's divided. Some people say she's low while some say she's safe. I am putting her as safe because her performance in the episode felt altogether safe. I also understand people who put her as low. If there's any other places you want to ask me about, just comment. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's something new, but I had so much fun planning and writing and recording this video. I might do more content on Drag Race in the future, but it won't be my priority over other things. I might make a follow-up video to this after the final just to see if I was right or probably wrong, and just to talk about this amazing season again. I can't stress enough how much I love this season and these queens. Please go support them if you can.